September 9th, which is Wednesday. It's a very, very important day, and I'm going to talk about that with you more in just a minute. But right now, let's talk about where we're at right now, where we're at with the current investments. If we could just check on over to the website, we are currently sitting at $70,795 in investment with 197 people investing. That's amazing. We're almost at 200 investors, which we are extremely grateful for. This puts us, we are very close to the minimum investment right now. We need less than $23,000 more to get to that minimum investment. Now, if you're coming to us for the first time today and you're waiting to watch the full shift short film with us, which I hope that you are. I hope that everybody is inviting their friends to come and check this out for the first time. This is going to be a really special event. You probably don't want to hear about all this investment talk. We're going to get through it real quickly. I just want to update everybody, and then we're going to watch the full short together. That's what we have coming up. But it is really exciting to see that number go up and to see us almost hit that minimum investment. So let's talk about last week a little bit more. Last week we did some live streams and they went incredibly well. We talked with the cast, we had a live Q&A session with the cast of the short film, and that was really fun. We got to see Travis, who plays Satan. We got to see Greg, who plays Kevin. My wife, who plays Molly, was here, and so was Greg Wyke, who played Tina's father. And we got to meet them and talk with them, and that was a lot of fun to hear their perspective and their stories. And if you didn't get a chance to see that, it's archived on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube, and so you can check them out there. But it was a really good time. The other thing we did is we also unveiled a very, very special video message from Dallas Jenkins. Dallas Jenkins, you may or may not know, recently he is the creator of The Chosen, and he recently signed on as our executive producer. So it's an amazing thing to have Dallas on the team, and it's such a huge endorsement. So we're extremely grateful to have him. We hope that is a signal to you of the kind of quality that obviously that Dallas feels that the shift is, but also the quality upgrade that we're shooting for with the feature film. That's the thing for me, is that I want to make this feature film something that is truly incredible and that people are truly, truly excited about, and that hopefully can surpass expectations in the same way the short film did. The thing you may not know about the film that we're about to watch is that it was made for $500. $500, by the way, sounds like a lot of money when you're 12 years old. As those of us who are adults know, $500 doesn't go very far, and it especially doesn't go very far for a film. So when you're watching this film with us in a few minutes, keep that in mind. It was $500. Now, I say that, and I don't want to misrepresent. One of the reasons, the big reason that we were able to make that film for that cheap is because everybody, the actors, the crew, everybody volunteered their time and their talents to help get this film made. And they did it mostly as a favor to me, because we certainly never expected the short film to end up being what it is now, which is a proof of concept for a feature film with all of your support, with VidAngel's support, with Dallas's support, and lest I forget, we also announced last week that Dan Hasseltine and Matt Nelson, the composers for The Chosen, are also going to be our composers. They joined the team last week. They're with us now. I even released a little video yesterday called The State of the Shift 3, and we got to hear from Dan and Matt personally, and the rumor has it that we're going to hear from Dan and Matt even more next week. That's a little bit of a tease there for you, but get ready to hear from them in a much bigger way about the shift, from them personally, from their own mouths. Okay. You know what? Let's watch the Dallas video. Let's check that out. Not everybody may have seen it. It only takes a few minutes. I think it's really important. It's an important video. It's important to understand what we're doing. And I think Dallas sets up beautifully what he believes is important about the shift. And to be honest with you, he talks a little bit too much about me. That was not what I was expecting and not what I asked for. And he says that in the video. But I love his enthusiasm, and I love his faith and belief in me. It was a real moment when that video came in, and I listened to it for the first time and heard Dallas speak my name over and over again and talk about me as though I'm some, incredibly talented person, which, that's up for debate. I like to think that I have a lot of help on my side, both here with my team and also above from my Heavenly Father. But anyway, enough from me. Let's check out what Dallas has to say.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money, but I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where the shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So the shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get enough to make something special. And I think the message of the shift and the future of the shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side. I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
In my unworthiness, save me that I may be worthy tomorrow.
I am greater than God.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
greater than
Amen.
And that's what The Shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
Hey, this is Brock. I hope you'll partner with us by backing the project at studios.vidangel.com/theshift. We only have until September 30th to get our full funding, and we can't do it without you. All right, so that was Dallas telling us his thoughts about The Shift. So appreciative of him, not only for signing on board, but for making that video. Those of you who follow Dallas and follow The Chosen know that he is neck deep in preparations for season 2 of The Chosen. So it was really nice of him to take the time out and record that for us. A lot of you have been excited about that video. We were seeing it get shared everywhere. And speaking of sharing, we encourage you right now to please share this live stream. Share it on your Facebook pages. Share it in groups that you belong to, particularly faith-based and movie groups. However, I would like to provide one caveat for that, starting with this live stream. We're going to ask you to not share it on the Chosen fan club page. And the reason for that is that we've gotten some pushback from some members of that group. And the last thing we want to do is, create any kind of bad will between us and The Chosen. The Shift and The Chosen are very intertwined at this point. And we want to be respectful of the fact that the Chosen fan club is about The Chosen and keep it that way. So we do ask that you not share it in the Chosen fan club. But anywhere else you want to share it, we encourage you to do so. We want to bring as many people into this live stream as possible. And of course, this is not the only time we're doing this today. We're going to be doing this same live stream again, not a repeat of this recording. I'm going to come on and talk to you and have all new words and probably mess up even more. At 6 p.m. Pacific time tonight. That's when that's going to be happening. And it looks like we got a lot of people who are going to be there with us, maybe even a lot more than right now because it'll be after work and things like that. So those of you that are watching right now, or those of you that are thinking, oh gosh, I wish I could watch this, but I got to take off, please come back if you'd like at 6 p.m. tonight Pacific time, and we'll be doing this again. And who knows what will happen and what will be new and what we'll be talking about. But we really appreciate those of you that are joining us right now. It's very exciting to be talking to you. It's always exciting for me to be talking to you. To be completely honest, I am not a front of the camera guy. That's not where I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable behind the camera. Hitchcock would always make cameos in all of his movies. I have no desire to do that. I'm not an actor. This is just me talking to you, and I'm doing it because this is something that means so much to me. Making this film, getting this film out there has been a labor of love for several years. You're maybe just coming to the shift now. Maybe you just found out about it today. Maybe it was just a few weeks ago. It's been 5 years for me, 5 years to get to this point. And in a live stream we're doing on Wednesday, I'm going to talk more about that, about why it's taken 5 years to get to this point and what it means to be faithful and wait on the Lord. That is really genuinely what the feature film is mostly about. And I'm looking forward to talking about that with you more. Certainly in the short film, Kevin also waits on the Lord, and he's not there for a long time while he's talking to this man who says he's Satan, and demonstrates quite clearly that he actually is. But in the feature film, we're going to take that and we're going to blow that up. One of the things I love to do on these, and we're going to get to the short film. We're going to watch it in just a minute. We're trying to let everybody kind of trickle in. People are, oh gosh, it's 11. I better, or wherever you are, whatever time it is, I better get in there and watch the shift. So if you're waiting for the short film to start, it's going to start in just a few minutes. We're just trying to let people come in. We want as many to join us as possible. But one of the things I love to do on these live streams is to shout out investments as they come in. And so if you are looking to invest today, I encourage you to do so now while I'm talking to you, because we will shout your name out. Unless you send us a note and you tell us not to, then we won't do that. But we would love to shout you out, and we'd love to see those investments come in as we're talking. Usually we set a goal that we're trying to hit by the time the live stream is over. Since this is a watch party, we're a little bit more low key today. But I'd like to set a goal for $73,000. Let's see if we can get to $73,000 while I'm talking to you today, while we're watching the short film. That's a pretty modest goal. I have a feeling we're going to blow past that, but let's set that goal. Right now we're at $70,795. But let's set a goal for $73,000 and see what we can do. But I want to shout out some recent investments that came in over the last day or so. A big shout out to Keith and Anita in Texas. They invested for $3,500. That is a lot. And by the way, that is not the first time Keith and Anita have invested. This is their second investment. We're so grateful to them. We're so grateful for people who are coming back and investing more than once. That is not something that I expected. It is humbling to see the faith and the confidence that people have in this project. Keith and Anita, thank you so much. It means so much. Brenda in North Dakota also invested for $500. Thank you, Brenda. Scott in Oklahoma invested for $100. Thank you, Scott. Gary in Indiana, I bet he gets a lot of jokes about Gary, Indiana, but I won't make that joke. We're skipping right past that. Gary in Indiana invested for $1,700. Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. Alicia in Texas, I believe this is also a repeat investment for Alicia for $500. Thank you, Alicia. Marjorie in Indiana partnered with us for $995. Marjorie, thank you. And Jed in Utah partnered with us for $200. Thank you so much, Jed. We have the moderators who are on standby. They're watching the investments like a hawk. As soon as one comes in, they're going to message me and let me know, and we will shout you out. We hope that you will consider doing that. This week is so important. We are trying to get... I have a visitor coming in. Oh, it's my daughter, Cammie. Hey, folks, this is live. I am sorry. I'm going to have to call out to my wife and ask her to come and get Cammie. Hey, Aaron. Cammie and the dog have decided to come and visit me. If any of you know my wife and can text her, here she is.
Cammie,
Okay.
you can't bother Daddy right now.
They are now exiting. I'm so sorry, everyone. This is live. In case you didn't know, it's definitely true. It's confirmed. Where was I? September 9th. It's just... When is September 9th? September 9th is tomorrow. That's tomorrow. By tomorrow, we need to get to $23,000 more than what we have right now to get to $93,000. That is our minimum. Why is that important? Why is that a thing? Don't we have until September 30th? Yes, we have until September 30th. But here's the thing. To get the shift out to everybody, to do this campaign, we need money. And we have been spending money, a lot of it my own money, in order to get it out to you. That money can only go so far. And so we have the $93,000 minimum set so that once we hit that minimum, we can take the money out of the fund and continue the campaign. If we can't hit that minimum, we can't continue the campaign. Why September 9th? Because September 9th, if we can get it on September 9th, then we have a full 3 weeks to get to $1 million. 3 weeks is not a lot of time. And it's very important that we not only get to the 93, but then we have enough time to capitalize on it. So in order to have a successful campaign, we need to reach 93 as quickly as possible. And September 9th is, I believe, the best time to maximize that time. So I hope that if you are considering investing in this project, partnering with us, backing this, you want to see this film made, I hope that you'll do it now. We really, really need you. I believe that we can get there. I believe in miracles. I have been praying my guts out, and I know that a lot of you have too. So please share this. Please consider investing. We want to join with you in that. All right. Enough of that. We'll talk more about all that later. Let's go ahead and watch the film. We want to see this thing. So this is a slightly different cut than what you maybe have seen on Facebook. One of the ways that it's different is that this is the original cut. It's got a little bit different beginning. Not really. It's a fade in instead of a hard cut, which is just doesn't matter. But the thing that's really significant to me about this cut is that you're finally going to be able to see the credits. So one of the things that we've done as we have gotten this out to people is that we've put our pitch video at the end of it. And the credits go into a little box. And so you don't get to see the names of all the people who worked so hard on this film. The actors and the crew and everybody. So in this version, we're gonna see the credits for the first time. And a lot of you may be thinking, I don't really know these people. It doesn't matter to me. But you know what? I love watching the credits on films because even if I don't know who the people are, they're people who sacrificed and put their talents and their time into making something that I enjoyed. So if you enjoy The Shift and you've enjoyed the short film, and if you enjoyed it as we're about to watch it, I hope you'll look at the credits, and I'll talk about it a little bit as we're watching them. I may interrupt the film as we're watching. I may have some tidbits here and there to share with you. We'll see. But mostly, I just want to watch it together with you. And I hope that in the comments, you'll feel free to talk about it. Tell us what your thoughts are as you're watching. At the end of the short, we'll go ahead and we'll have a live Q&A. You can ask me any questions you want. Any questions that are asked during the stream of the short, I'll ask our moderators to bank for me and send them to me so that I can keep track of them and answer them afterwards. But please, ask questions afterwards, and we'll talk about anything you want. Anything is fair game, about the investment, about the short itself. Anything you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Okay, it's time. Let's go ahead and watch the short together. Please feel free to chat it up in the comments. Slight delay. Just got a message from our moderator saying that people want to see my fingernails. So for those of you that missed our video yesterday, I released a video, and I talk a lot with my hands, so you've seen my fingernails. I don't know what. Let me see the view of the camera. So yeah, those are my fingernails. You can see I'm kind of a nail biter, which isn't great. But my fingernails are painted. The paint is wearing off. It looks like I got bloody thumbs or something. And the reason that they're painted is not because this is a regular thing I do. In fact, I've never, ever painted my nails in my entire life. But my daughter, who has not seen a friend since March because of the pandemic, is just I'll do anything to bring a smile to her face. I really will. And when my wife told me that she desperately wanted to paint my nails for who knows what reason, I went ahead and approached her and asked her if she would make my nails pretty because they're so ugly. And so it made her very happy. It is done. They're on my fingers. They'll wear out eventually and I'll return to normal. But that's why I have painted nails. Not because that's a regular thing, but just doing that for my daughter. You got to do what you got to do when times are tough. So that's why my nails are painted. Okay, enough of that. Let's go ahead and watch the film. Here we go.
Molly, do you mind turning that off?
Did you pay the bills last night?
I don't even watch it. It's just noise.
The mortgage, Kevin. You said you'd take care of it.
Did I? If you're so concerned, then pay it.
You said you would.
No, you say I said I would. I'm saying a different thing.
Awesome.
I'm not just going to agree with you because it makes it easier.
That's great, Kevin. Way to take a stand. I'll call the bank and tell them that you're too...
Just turn it off!
So, just a quick note here. This is my actual kitchen. This is in my own house. The argument that Kevin and his wife just had, who is played by my wife, is actually not that far from some arguments that we've had. Believe it or not, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We have arguments, and this is some of the language in here is things that I've said, things that she's said, and not our proudest moment, but now it's enshrined for everyone to see forever. So yay us.
Where were you?
Brennan, where was I when?
The R&D meeting this morning. Early morning meeting.
Is there a memo on this?
There were two. It was an important meeting. There were donuts.
Okay. I miss donuts.
Dude, I try to cultivate an atmosphere of excellence and cool in this department, obviously, but I am tired of your crap. If it's not the meeting, then it's the weekly reports, the residual spreadsheets.
I don't remember the memo.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. You don't remember.
So just a quick shout out about this character, Brendan. He was dressed very specifically, and his hair was dyed. The actor was a good enough sport to let us cut and dye his hair to give him this weird coloring, trying to present the image of a guy who thinks he's cool. He thinks he traffics in excellence and cool, but he actually is kind of the furthest thing from it. And CJ did such a great job, especially with the puka shell necklace. You can kind of see that poking out from under his collar. It's a real mark of somebody who believes that they are cool, but is definitely very much not.
You know what? Just take the rest of the day off. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, you and I will discuss your future.
Hello?
Hi, honey.
Where are you?
I'm on my way home. Look, I'm sorry about this morning.
I'm out with friends. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back. Did you pay the bills yet?
What do you think? I was at work, and now I'm in the car.
Hey there. You okay? You okay?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Here, drink this.
Ooh.
Drink this. You've got a nasty gash right here on.
Ow, God, please.
I had a kid, so I bandaged it up, but you seem okay otherwise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin, Garner.
Satan, pleased to finally meet you.
I'm sorry, my head's still spinning. What did you say?
Satan. My name's Satan.
As in the devil?
Yes?
It's a joke, right?
Why would I joke? I mean, look at you. I wouldn't be joking at a time like this.
God, okay. I gotta go, man. Thank you. I appreciate
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Appreciate you helping me. I really do, man. If you don't mind, just.
Hey. Just stay awake. Stay awake. Keep talking to me.
Oh, what the hell, man?
Keep talking, man. It's gonna help you stay awake.
Oh.
And we need to talk business, okay?
What business? What business?
I want to offer you a job.
I have a job.
Not for long.
Okay. Satan. Satan, if you can help me to my car, I'd feel a little bit better.
Of course.
All right, real quick, I just want to do a quick investment report. I know you're enjoying the film. I'm going to get you back to it in just a second here, but it is always exciting when we have investments come in during the live stream, and I have to tell you about them. Kat in Ohio just partnered with us for $100. Thank you so much, Kat. Lisa from Massachusetts just partnered with us for $500. That puts our current total up to $71,395. Our goal is $73,000 during this live stream. Can we get there? I believe that we can. Let's keep watching.
Where's my car? Where's the accident?
There was no accident here.
What do you mean there was no accident here? How long was I out back there?
A little while. You should check your phone.
What day is it?
What's your phone say?
No, you could have messed with my phone while
December
I was
14th. Same as before your accident.
out. You just said there was no accident.
No. I said there was no accident here.
I need to see a paper.
What for?
I want to see a newspaper.
There, you see?
Buy it. Buy a paper. I want to see the ones on the inside. Don't tell me you don't have the money. Not in that suit.
We've just never had to prove it this far.
This one? You could have put that there. Who's we?
Me and you. Kevin, this isn't the first time we've done all this.
You're certifiable. I have never met you.
No, of course you haven't.
It reads the same.
Yes, this is tedious.
You tell me! Where is my car, and where did everybody go?
They didn't go anywhere, Kevin. You did. Are you sure you are where you think you are? I'm hungry. Let's get some dinner. I'm buying. Mark, hey, how's little Josh doing? That work out for him? Just like I said, right? Kevin, what do you know about me?
Nothing. I don't know who you
Sure
are.
you do.
Two,
Yes, Tina, thank you.
right this way.
Fine. You're Satan. Is that what you want to hear?
And what do you know about me?
What can I get for you guys?
Steak and eggs, glass of milk, tall. Kevin,
Well, just have a coffee, please.
are you sure it's my treat?
Coffee's fine.
Kevin will have a coffee.
Kevin will have a coffee. That is my wife's favorite line. Something I forgot to tell you about earlier is that I'm going to be revealing something that I've never revealed before at the end of this viewing of the short. So you're going to want to definitely stay tuned for that. It's a question that no one has ever asked me, but I'm kind of surprised they haven't. I think you'll be interested to know. But so there is going to be a secret revealed. Also, we are shouting out investments today. So if you are going to make an investment, do it now. We'll shout you out.
You're a fiend, a crook, a liar. Your goal? Misery.
Straight out of Sunday school. You're religious then?
Yeah, sort of. I used to be.
That's different. Wouldn't you like to know how I do it all?
Do what?
Cause all this misery you're accusing me of. Although I prefer the term chaos.
You tempt people.
Basically. Let's talk about your marriage.
What about my marriage?
Molly's been cheating on you, clearly. Has been for a while.
What is this? What?
You guys haven't had a real conversation in, what, 3 years? What did you think was gonna happen? Number one cause of a broken marriage. Can you guess? Lack of communication. Misunderstanding. Misunderstandings are the reason for so much conflict in this world. I mean, wars are fought over them. Entire lucrative professions are built around fixing them. And when communication breaks down, chaos.
Steak and eggs, then a tall glass of milk.
Excellent. So prompt.
Can I get you anything else?
This is incredible. Tina, my compliments to your mother. She just keeps outdoing herself.
I'll let her know.
Please, there's so much food. Stay, join us.
No,
Stay! Eat. Good, right? This morning you had an argument with your wife about paying the bills. Did you promise to pay the bills?
I don't think so.
Two people see the same accident, but their accounts differ wildly. Why?
They each see it by their own perspective or bias.
Wrong. They both see different accidents. Each one of them sees a different accident. Both are telling the truth, and they'll never agree.
What?
There is no fiction. For every choice you make, there are countless other realities where you make different choices. And that's true for every single decision made by every person who ever lived. Choice breeds infinite possibilities. Choice breeds realities. There's not a thing you can imagine that doesn't already exist somewhere, somewhen. There is no fiction.
Parallel Earths.
So good. So good. So good when he gets it. I love this moment.
And you?
Imagine the power to move one person from one reality to the next, to swap someone out for their doppelganger from another Earth, to shift them. That's what I do.
I never talked to Molly about paying the bills.
No, you didn't. I shifted her. Replaced her with a version of your wife whose husband did, in fact, promise to pay the bills.
But why?
Just one tiny difference. Disagreement, confusion, tension, chaos.
My wife.
Shifted. It's how the worlds work, Kevin.
Prove it. I don't believe you. I need to see it. Shift something.
What would you like me to shift, Kevin?
Shift her.
Sure.
Okay, we had another investor come in for $100 from Ohio. I don't have a name on that, but we thank you, Ohio, for $100. That's awesome. We are shouting out investors today. Its investment is so needed, especially right now, as we try to get to $93,000 by tomorrow night, so that we can kick this campaign into high gear. What you're about to see next with the rest of the film is basically the director's commentary that I'm going to be giving on Thursday. On Thursday's live stream, I'm going to be doing director's commentary. I'm going to be talking about the back half of the diner scene. So everything from here on, I'm going to talk about more specifically on Thursday. So I'm not going to talk about it too much right now. But if you're interested in what the details are of why things are the way they are and things like that, Thursday, director's commentary, we'll talk about it more then.
Where did she go?
Somewhere else. I would have swapped her with another Tina, but you wouldn't have noticed. She's on some world where her parents never met and fell in love, where there is no Tina. Small deviations are usually best, but that's a big shift. Big shifts take people out of the game and into psych wards. Makes me sad.
I didn't mean...
Oh, don't get broken up about it. They got lots of daughters. Or they used to. Maybe it's time to find a new cafe.
What do you want from me?
Oh, Kevin, you're special. You don't even know. And I can't do this all by myself. It's a big job. A big job. On every world, I set up my power players, and they do my work.
What kind of work is that?
You know. Lie, cheat, steal, murder.
I've never hurt anybody my whole life.
No, but you have such potential. You're a halfway decent guy. It's the other half I'm particularly fond of, and it takes over in the end.
No. You don't know.
I do know. You do accept this offer. You're out there, Kevin, doing my work, and you're rewarded for it. You're a captain of industry. You're a leader. You're a Hollywood producer. You're a king. And I can provide all of those things for you, everything you ever wanted. I have 1,000 different versions of you on 1,000 different worlds doing my work. And they aren't hampered by an unfaithful spouse or an idiot supervisor who can't recognize their talents. Swear allegiance to me, Kevin. And I will lift you out of this embarrassing farce you call a life and into something glorious.
You can do that?
Just say the word. It would honestly be my pleasure.
But you're the one that made my wife disappear. You're the one that's been screwing everything up.
Don't be unfair, Kevin. You do your part too, and I can keep on doing mine. I can make your life truly, truly miserable, or I can make you deliriously happy. The choice is yours.
But that's not who I am. I'm not like that. I wouldn't know how to be like that.
Look at what you've done already today. That poor waitress.
I didn't.
Poor Tina. That's one life destroyed. Wasn't it easy? Just say the word. You're already on the path. You might as well keep going. Let me give you everything you ever wanted. Just say the word.
in heaven.
Are
It's
you?
been way too long
Are you
since
praying?
last heard from you, but I'm
Really?
Here there's
This is
darkness.
amazing.
I'm
Please,
too
please,
small.
I love it.
Please.
Do you
help me.
really think that God will help you after what you've done? You're tainted goods. You're not even worth his effort anymore. And even if he does help you, do you think I will ever leave you alone? Ever? You can't put me off. I am relentless. I am at your heels. I know you.
And in my
You
unworthiness,
are
save me
nothing.
that I may be
Nothing.
worthy tomorrow.
I am
Only
greater than God.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
certainly great again.
I'm so sorry.
All right, that is The Shift. And, oh man, I love, I've seen it so many times, and it never quite gets boring for me, even now. I know that's weird to say, I've probably seen it hundreds of times, but just knowing that you're all watching with us and kind of the effect that it can have, it's really cool. It's really cool to be doing this, even though I can't really see you or hear you. But just want to shout out to everybody that's listed in these credits. I made the film, yes, but all of these people did so much. Our actors, of course, were all mostly pulled from a haunted house that I was working at just a little bit before we did this film. And, all the extras as well are all from that haunted house. There were several people who came on here that I didn't even know, who just knew something was happening and wanted to be a part of it, or were kind enough to lend their talents, including Orlando J. Gomez, who you see listed there as a grip/swing. He was helped us out with insurance, became an associate producer on this, and is now a producer on the feature film. You're going to see him on Wednesday, tomorrow. We're gonna hear from him for the first time. But yeah, I mean, and if you really look at these credits, look at this list of people, you see a lot of names repeated. We had people filling in multiple jobs, and it's really actually a very small group of people. The special thanks here is really important to me. One of the things that I do on my films is that I ask for the names of the spouses. If anybody who's married, I want to know what the name of their spouse is, so that I can put them in the thanks, in the credits, because I believe that spouses are a huge part of why we're able to do what we can do, and so I believe they deserve a special shout out, even if I haven't met them. And then, of course, we have our power players. All those people also got a thanks. They were people who contributed to our film festival fund when we did our film festival run. It costs money to put films in festivals. You notice the songs there, all those songs listed are really old songs, because I didn't have to pay for them. So I went back to songs from the 20s and pulled these really obscure, old-timey songs, and because I didn't have to pay for them, they were copyright-free. And, of course, it made the whole thing a little bit creepier. And then, of course, there's a scripture reference at the end there, Matthew 4, 8 through 11, worth looking up. I try to put a scripture reference at the end of all my films, including my second short film, which was a secular film. Maybe I'll show that to you someday. There's even a scripture reference at the end of that one. And that's because everything I do, pretty much I'm pulling from what I know and from what I believe and what my values are. And so for me, there's always a scriptural importance and connection to what I'm doing. We had another investment come in while we were watching, and that's from Dawn in Maryland. She partnered with us for $100. Thank you so much, Dawn. We are trying to get to $73,000 by the time this live stream is over. Let's see where we're at now. This is where we were when we started. Let's refresh and see what our current total is. Current total is, with 201 investors, wow, we crossed the 200 mark. We have $71,595 in investment, putting us $1,405 away from getting to that $73,000 goal. We hope that we can get there. What I'm going to do now is, in just a minute, is I'm going to start taking questions. I believe some of you have been asking questions while we were watching. If you have any questions about the short, about investment, anything that you want to know at all, I encourage you to drop those questions in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, and our moderator will be sure and get that question over to me. And then, of course, any investments we're also going to be shouting out. And just to talk about investment just for a little bit, because I know sometimes there's some confusion. One of the things that we've had people be confused about is the Social Security number. We need your Social Security number in order for you to invest in the film. And people don't always like to give that away. And so I want to just explain why we ask for that and why we actually genuinely do not want your Social Security number, but we have to ask for it. And this is what the lawyers have told us that we can say, and actually it's really plain English, and so it's good job on our lawyers for making it very easy to understand. But this is what they say. This information is required by Prime Trust, the escrow agent for your investment, to verify your identity and compliance with federal banking regulations. VidAngel Studios does not save this information. So we don't care about your Social Security number. We just have to do it because of regulations. We have to get that information. Okay, let's see. We've got some questions that have come in. The first question is, has anyone contacted Tyler Perry? Tyler Perry. Why would we contact Tyler Perry? Yes, he is somebody who... oh, wait a minute. Are we not looking... Sorry, I didn't switch it back over to me. There we go. Tyler Perry, I know that he... I haven't really seen any of his films, to be honest with you. I believe he does some faith projects, or he has faith kind of mixed up in his films. But no, contacting Tyler Perry is not something that I've considered. I'm not sure that it would fit his brand or what he does. So I don't have any information on Tyler Perry there for you. Would love for him to see it, though. Love to see what he thinks. Another question. Straight out of Sunday school. It sounds rote, but isn't what I was told about Satan in Sunday school. Is this description specific to a denomination or just what Brock learned in Sunday school? So when Kevin tells Satan who he is, he says, here's the thing. I can't quote my own movies. I really can't. I can't quote anybody's movies, much less mine. But he basically talks about how, Satan's goal is misery and he kind of describes him. That description, honestly, is not... To be honest with you, no, I didn't pull that from the church that I go to. I didn't pull that from any kind of manual or anything. I think that was more of just the collection of what I understand Satan to be spit out into just a few lines. And that's what it ended up being. And it's really more the way that Kevin says it. He's just kind of listing attributes, almost like they're not his own thoughts, but something he's heard. And I think just based on the tone and the way he delivers it and just the content of the information, Satan is able to say, hey, that sounds straight out of Sunday school. And of course, that is the moment. That is another moment in which Kevin is saying something unexpected. Satan has done this many, many times with many other Kevins from other realities, but this is the moment where he says something that's a little bit different. And so Satan's just kind of recognizing that. He's not used to Kevin having any kind of religious understanding or background. That's kind of the suggestion there. Megan asks, how does the investment work? What kind of returns are available and over what kind of time? Great question, Megan, and I would love to explain that. So the investment works like this. You are buying shares in the film, and they cost $1 each. The minimum minimum investment is $100. So you're essentially, the minimum would be to purchase 100 shares of the film. Your investment you as a purchaser of a preferred unit, what you are purchasing is something that will be returned before anybody else who's involved in the film, including myself. What that means is that I don't make any money until you make money, plus 20%. So that's the return. The return on investment guaranteed if the film makes money is 120%. You will make your investment back plus 20% of that investment before I even get to touch any of the profits at all. That's what becoming an investor right now means. So it's something that I am in a big favor. I'm very much supportive of, because to me, what's important about this so much isn't the money so much as making a really great film that can make money and make you money first. So that's how that works. You asked about the timeline. So the timeline really depends on when we get the investment. When we get the full investment, when we achieve our budget, then we can begin what's called pre-production. And that will take several months. Once pre-production is concluded, pre-production is where we kind of, set up the locations, cast the actors, things like that. Once pre-production is over, we will begin filming. Now, when we begin filming is also kind of determined by some other external factors, including the time of the year and actor availability and things like that. So in a perfect world, I would love to start filming in January when the weather is still cold. I want it to be cold. Our actors need to be wearing sleeves and that type of clothing, and you'll understand why when you see the film. That'd be my ideal world. Can that happen? I don't know. But that would be great. If we could get our funding by the end of this month, we can roll into pre-production, do that for 3 or 4 months, and then roll right into production in January. Then it'll take us about a month and a half to actually shoot the film. And then probably another year, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, in post-production. That's where we do all of our editing. So we do the sound designing, and that is where we do the music and things like that. And that takes some time. And during that time, we'll be looking for, our distribution options and figuring all that out. So that's kind of the timeline that I'm seeing. But a lot of this is to be determined. Until we get the investment, we can't really make a lot of these overtures that we need to do in order to figure out what our timeline is. So I'm sorry I don't have a more definitive answer for you right now, but hopefully we can figure that out with time. Let's see, Megan has a follow-up question that I'm catching here on Facebook. She says, how is filming / the timeline affected by COVID? Another great question. So one of the things with COVID that I'm being told by our team who are out there making other, movies and different things is that they were able to shoot essentially at about 80% capacity. So basically you take what you could accomplish during a normal day of filming and reduce that by about 20%. That's about what they're able to get done. Now, for a large-scale Marvel Studios type production, this probably isn't going to matter that much. But with a production like ours, an independent film, that means more days on the schedule. More days on the schedule means we're going to, our money isn't going to go as far. So I'm definitely hoping for a vaccine. However, if that ends up not happening and COVID is still part of our reality of filming, which, I'm assuming in some way it will be, we're going to have to make some adjustments to the schedule, some adjustments to how we do things. And one way or the other, we're going to get it done. It's just how COVID affects it really depends on when we start shooting and what the state of the world is at that point. And as you well know, nobody really knows what the state of the world is going to be even just a few months from now. But we know that filming is happening, that the precautions are being taken. For example, The Chosen, they're going to be I believe they're going to start filming here very soon in the next couple of months, and they are going to have numerous COVID protocols that they're going to be obeying. And thankfully, Dallas Jenkins is our executive producer, one of our executive producers, and he'll be able to advise us and help us, figure out what he did. We'll learn from him and his team and execute accordingly. So again, I don't have any definitive answers, but I can tell you it's something that's very much on our mind and something that we're taking into account. Let's see. We got another question here. Will understanding the way the evil one works in our lives help us to better understand God's love, according to what the film will show us? So this is a theme that's really important to me, is this idea of, I'm really glad this question was asked. And it's something that the last time I talked about this, there was some waterworks, and we're going to try to avoid that. Nobody wants to see me cry. Nobody. Don't tell me you do. It's a lie. I know I don't believe you. But the idea that how evil works in our lives, how darkness enters in, and how that is what God uses to show his love is an idea that I feel very passionately about, and that I know firsthand has been evident in my life, and is evident in all of our lives when we really think about it. When you think about the times when you knew that God was there, when he really showed up and you felt his love, you felt his mercy, you felt the comfort of the Spirit, when that happened, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that was during a time of great trial for you, that was when things were not going so well. And that creates a space for God to come in and help us, because it's in that moment that we know that we can't do it by ourselves. And when we make that acknowledgement, God steps up and he comes in and he makes it not always better. Sometimes he makes it better, sometimes he doesn't. The shift is going to be very real in that way. We're going to show that the struggle happens despite our pleading for it to stop. And I think that's really important to understand, that God has his purpose, and his purpose and his understanding is so much greater than ours. And so suffering is allowed for his purpose. And I believe he has numerous purposes, but I believe that one of the most important purposes is for us to see his love, to experience godly love. And I'm going to venture into the territory that gets me a little teary right now, and so you're just going to have to bear with me here. But this is a story that is very near and dear to me, that's very important, and I think that is important for understanding why the shift is the way it is. Why are we making a Christian film with so much darkness? What is the point of that? So just a little bit of background on me. When I was almost 12 years old, my father, he was a man I looked up to, a man that was very important in my life. Obviously, I loved my father, and his occupation was as a small business owner. He owned a gun store on the outskirts of town. And the store was in a place kind of isolated to where there were numerous break-ins all the time. I remember 3 a.m. he'd get a call. He'd have to go down there and see what was taken and try to secure the place. It just happened all the time. It was just part of the reality for me growing up. It's only looking back that I realized how unusual that was and how dangerous it was for him to be leaving at 3 a.m. to go down to a store to try to chase off whoever's there. But that was the kind of person that he was. That's what he did. Just before my 12th birthday, 3 days before my 12th birthday, my father was packing up the guns for the night, putting them in cases to bring them into the safe in the back of the store. And that was when two men burst in with submachine guns and just started shooting. They just started shooting. And there's a lot to that story. I'm just going to try to be very brief here. But needless to say, the first bullets were sent in his direction. And he went down. And then they began shooting all of the display cases in order to get to the guns. And they packed them up into a sack. And then they just kept shooting him as he was on the ground, over and over and over again. And all he was hit 13 times. 13 different bullets struck him that night. And then it became a struggle to survive. And at first, he was alone. There was nobody else in the store. Like I said, the store was on the outskirts of Fresno, which means really nobody even heard what had happened. He was truly, truly alone. And had he stayed on the ground, essentially bleeding out, I'm not going to get graphic here, he would have died. And so he had to make a choice about whether or not to fight for his life. And of course, my dad being who he was very much a fighter. He got up, got the phone, which was on the wall, dialed 911, laid back down, and only to find out that he had dialed 411 by accident. And the person on the other end of the line would not help him. So he had to get back up off the ground and realize that most of these bullets were in his legs. He had to get back up off the ground, hang the phone up, and then dial 911 again. Very, very long story short, 911 did come to him eventually. And I just got a message from Dan Hasseltine. The answer to your question, Dan, is no. If you're listening, no. Next week is the answer to that. Hopefully you're listening. If not, I'll message you later. My father lived that night. He did not die. Despite the fact that he was hit by 13 bullets in an armed robbery, my father lived. And it was. I'm not doing this. It was a heck of a thing to see him pass through that struggle. And the thing that impressed me the most about him recovering from that, which took weeks and months for him to recover. In fact, he never fully recovered. I mean, you get shot that many times, your body breaks a bit. But the thing that impressed me the most was that he did not harbor any ill feelings towards the men who did it. He would joke about wanting just 5 minutes alone with these guys so that he could, just do whatever, have his way with them. But it was a joke. It was not something he was serious about. And he lived a life from that point forward of not dwelling on that and moving on from that. Everybody expected him to experience this like great trauma, and when bad things happen, it's understandable for trauma to happen. It's understandable for us to need some recovery time. But my dad wasn't like that. He just moved on with his life, with forgiveness in his heart. And the reason that was so important to me is because 8 years later, I'm 19 years old, and I'm serving as a missionary at that time. And the incident repeated itself. 2 men burst into my dad's store, started firing their weapons, and the first bullets hit him. And this time he died. You'd think as many times as I tell this story that it wouldn't be so raw, but it is. It always is. And I think anybody who's lost somebody really important to them understands that. That never quite goes away. And I really shouldn't have told this story today and I wasn't going to talk about this, but there's a family that could use your prayers. Last night, my cousin Mackenzie and my nieces Lauren and Macy were involved in a car accident, and unfortunately, very sorry. Unfortunately, Mackenzie didn't make it, and if you've got some prayers for her siblings and for her parents, they'd be much appreciated. Today's a hard day for my family, for my extended family. And if you've got some prayers, that would be great. To finish my story, when I found out my dad had died, my mom called me up. I was living in Arizona at the time, as I said, as a missionary. And my mom called to tell me that my dad had died. And it was a devastating moment, as you can imagine. And I remember going into the bedroom after I hung up the phone with my mom and hanging my tie on my tie rack and kicking off my shoes, squaring my feet up on the carpet, being oddly pleased by the precision of that, to be able to just put my feet square, have them in perfect order and controlled, was important to me for some reason. And I sat and I stood there by myself and I thought about the men that had killed my father, and I experienced a moment of anger, just real anger, so angry that these men who I did not know, whose names I did not know, whose faces I would not recognize, and just feeling so angry towards them. And to say that was a dark moment, of course, it was a dark moment. It was a dark moment. And almost immediately, it left. The feeling of anger, the feeling of frustration, it left. And I started to think about those men, and I started to think about the way that they had suffered that night in a way that they weren't even aware of, and comparing that to my father's suffering. My father had lost his life, but my father was a faithful man, and I'm confident about where he is now. And I thought about these men and what they had done. If you've ever done something truly atrocious, committed a wrong or a sin that was truly, truly awful, you know the pain of that. I can't imagine the pain of having killed someone, of having committed murder and taken a life, robbed a man from his family, from those that he loved, taking him out of this plane of existence. Doing that, I can't imagine the pain that would come from committing a sin like that. Which isn't to say that those men that night understood that they had done something wrong, or even weren't perhaps cavalier about it. I have no idea what their attitude was. And who's to say that now, 24 years later, that they don't have any idea of what they did and how wrong it was. I don't presume to know their state of mind. But this is what I do know. I do know that one day they will understand. They will understand what they did and how wrong it truly was. And that understanding, that knowledge that they pushed themselves away from a Father in heaven that loves them, pushed themselves away from righteousness and from goodness and from happiness, that understanding is going to come one day. And that, to me, is a deeper tragedy than my father dying. That is a much deeper tragedy. And so that night, with my feet square up and looking into my closet, hanging my tie up, thinking about those men, I can legitimately tell you that in that moment, I felt the love of God, not only for myself, but for those men. I felt empathy for them. I felt sympathy. I felt love for them. And I felt so bad for what they will experience at one point, for the tragedy that is to separate yourself from God through sin. That is the power of darkness. How could I feel that love for them or experience that kind of godly love without passing through that kind of darkness? And so to me, when I watch The Shift, and I get comments from people all the time about how dark it is, and they feel like we should be making a film like this. Not a lot of comments, but a few here and there. And that's what I want to tell them, is to say, this is how God manifests himself. This is how we know he is there and that he is real and that he is in charge. And this is how we become better people. I am a better person because my father died. That's not a horrible thing to say. It sounds horrible, but it's not. It was the good thing that could come out of that tragedy, the good thing that could come out of that darkness. And so I don't shy away from acknowledging the terrible and hard things of this world, because I believe that has a purpose. Suffering has a purpose. Tragedy has a purpose. And that is the purpose, to draw us closer to God, to make us rely on him, to see things as he sees. And when we do that, we experience his perfect love, and his perfect love can be part of what our love is for everyone else. I forgave utterly in the moment those men for killing my father. And that forgiveness has continued. I have not had a moment since in which I did not experience forgiveness and love for them. That's just what I pass through. That's what I know. That's what I know to be true. And I realize that I'm very fortunate in that way, because there are a lot of people who pass through such things and are not able to get to that point. And I don't know why I'm able to be there. I think it's partly the example of my father from the first time that he was shot. And I think it's partly just the blessing of knowing who to rely on and who to look for and to be comforted by my Savior and by the Spirit. So that was a very, very long answer to that question, but I hope you'll forgive the emotion of that. And please, if you do have any prayers for my cousin and her family and my nieces and their families, we'd very much appreciate that. It was my cousin that lost her life, not the nieces. That's a question from Teresa, just answering that. Okay, trying to shift gears here. I don't know if any investment has come in. We have see, Eleanor says, hi, I'm trying to figure out how to invest. Eleanor is having some trouble. Maybe our moderators can help her out with a link and some information. We are trying to get to $73,000 during this live stream. I hate talking about money after sharing all that story, but the fact of the matter is that if there was another way to make movies, I would definitely do it. Unfortunately, we do need money in order to make this movie and to get this message out there. And if you enjoy the message of the short film, just wait until you see the feature film. The feature film takes what the short film is and makes it into so much more. Some of the things I was just talking about, passing through darkness, seeing God's love, that is so much a part of what the feature film is. The short film really just scratches the surface. It's the tip of the iceberg. And so that's my motivation for making it. I don't know that, I don't know what's going to happen with the film, but I feel led to make it, and this is how we're doing it. And we appreciate you partnering with us. It makes such a difference when you partner. Other people see it, and then they come and partner. We're trying to get to 93,000 by tomorrow night. Can we do it? I believe that if it's what he wants, then we will. I have another question here. Have you talked to people who have had shifting experiences or something like that? So the answer to that question would probably be me, but not literally. Shifting as a concept is something that that I made up, but it's based on this idea that sometimes we have experiences in which we are talking to somebody and we have two very different recollections of the same event. Example that's used in the short is a car accident. Two people see the same car accident and their accounts differ wildly. Why? Well, I actually quoted that correctly. And shifting is just a way to explain that. My wife and I have discussions all the time, sometimes arguments about moments that are basically shifting moments. And now she has to always tell me, you can't use the shift to explain this, why you didn't get the milk at the store or why the bills weren't paid. That's something we've had many discussions about. Those times when we're just having a different experience than the person we're talking to, that's kind of a shifting moment. I just saw a flash of my nails on the screen. If you're just joining us, my daughter did this. I let her do it to make her happy, to put a smile on her face. That's why my nails are colored. Okay. So I'm not sure if we have any more questions right now. Let's see where we're at. Let's check out the site here. Let's check out our current total. How close are we to $73,000? Let's see. Do a refresh here. We were still at 201. We're at the same place, $71,595 with 201 investors. Can we get to 73,000 today? I hope that we can during this live stream. I would love to shout you out if you're going to do that. Reminder, we have another watch party coming up tonight at 6 p.m. We see a lot of people are excited about that. Oh, crap, I didn't switch it back to me. Let's switch it back to me. We have a lot of people that are excited about that because it's a little bit later in the day, easier for people to attend. And so that's one of the reasons we're doing 2 watch parties today, is we want as many people to attend as possible. So if you're listening to this or watching this, or maybe you're coming in late on it and you would like to, watch it again or see the whole thing from the beginning, come on tonight and join us. Join us at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Watch party number 2. I just got word from our moderators that 3 people are in the pipeline right now trying to make investments. So we're going to hold on here and hope that they come in and we can get to that $73,000. I feel like that's a pretty modest goal and we can get there. So I'm going to hang on and we're going to get there together. I got a feeling about this today. Let's see, if you've got more questions, please come on in and hit me up with them. I am ready to answer your questions. Please don't make me cry again. I genuinely, it's not a trick. It's not something I pull out for any other reason than, it's what's on my heart. I'm not an actor. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm just coming at you with what I know is part of all of this, and all of this is the shift, the stories, what inspired it. It's all coming from a very real place for me. And so if there are tears that happen, I hope they don't feel manipulated or anything like that. That's not my goal. They're very, very genuine, and I would stop them if I could, believe me. Got a question here. from John. I'm gonna try to pronounce your name here, John, and please forgive me if I get it wrong. Wagant. For those that maybe aren't able to invest the $100, have you thought of simply selling Kevin Will Have a Coffee T-shirts to help the fund? No, that isn't something that we've thought about yet. Unfortunately, with only 3 weeks and some change to go, I don't think we have quite enough time to implement something like that. But maybe at some point we'll be able to do some merchandising and stuff once we have some more money that we can work with to do that. But that's a cool idea. I'd love to have a Kevin Will Have a Coffee T-shirt. That'd be really cool. Just to give you an idea, also, this week we've announced that we're doing 2 more live streams. And on the first one is going to be Wednesday. It's going to be tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. We're going to have special guest producer Orlando J. Gomez. He's the producer on The Shift. I just got word we have a new $500 investor that just came in. Do we have a name on that, moderator? Hit me with the name if we've got one. $500. Thank you. That puts us a lot closer to our $73,000 goal. I think we might just get there. Hopefully, those other 2 investors that were in the pipeline are going to come and get us all the way to the finish. Maybe not. Whatever you can do, we appreciate it. We also the $500 investor, our new one, is Megan in California. Thank you so much, Megan. It really, really means a lot. When people invest, I see that as more than just money. That is confidence. That is faith. That is more prayers that are coming our way. That's more people that we're adding to our team. And we truly see you as partners in that way. Once the campaign is over, are we going to be like, streaming 3 or 4 times a week? No, we're going to need to be putting on the movie, getting the movie together, and that takes a lot of time and effort. But I am looking forward to checking in with you, doing streams here and there, and posting and showing you what we're doing and the progress towards getting the film made. So don't think that just because we get our, the investment and we start making the movie that we're going to, abandon you and you won't hear from us anymore. That will not be the case. It just won't be quite as frequently as right now, and we hope you can understand that because we know you want to see the movie. So that's where most of our energy is going to have to go. But the man who is going to be, helping me the most with that is Orlando J. Gomez. And tomorrow night at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, you will get to hear from him personally. Orlando is very different from me, and at the same time, we are very much on the same page with what Christian media should be and should be doing. And that's something else I want to start talking about more, is this idea of how The Shift is different from other Christian films and other Christian media, and how that is very, very intentional. Orlando, in particular, is a great critic of Christian media, and which isn't to say that there's a lot of bad Christian media out there or anything like that. Let's say there is Christian media that doesn't appeal to us and our particular instincts and the way we know to do things quite as much as maybe it does to others. We feel like there's a space for a different kind of Christian media, where we feel like the movies that we make as Christians should be as good as or better than what Hollywood puts out. Say what you will about the values that Hollywood can have in their movies and the things that they express and the way they go about doing things. They are high quality as far as artistry goes, and we feel like there is a space to raise the bar. It is time to raise the bar. And The Chosen is a great example of just how high that bar can be raised for a faith-based entertainment. We want The Shift to be part of that conversation. We want to do better and really elevate and contribute to the kingdom by making something that is of high quality, that people that maybe aren't really giving faith-based films a chance, they will see The Shift and they will want to give The Shift a chance. That's what we hope to see. And that's one of our goals with The Shift. So Orlando feels very passionately about this topic. I would expect him to talk a lot about it tomorrow night. So definitely tune in for that and hear from him why he's jumped on board this film, jumped on board with this vision, and what he's passionate about. It'd be nice to hear from somebody besides me who has read the script and who knows what it is that we're doing. And he'll be able to speak to that. Just checking my messages here. Let's see, what is our current total? How close are we to that? $73,000. Let's refresh. We are at 203 investors, which means we got another one that I wasn't aware of. Hopefully, we'll get the info on that so I can shout them out. We're at $72,195, and if I do the quick math, that puts us at okay, that's not quick math. That puts us at $805 short of our $73,000 goal. That is incredibly close. I feel like we can get there. I hope that if it is on your heart right now, if you're thinking, I definitely know that I want to invest in this film, now's the time to do it. We would love to partner with you. Okay, that 203rd investor is Eleanor from Texas. Eleanor put in $100. Thank you so much, Eleanor. You are helping us get to our goal today. You're helping us get to our much bigger goal tomorrow. We have quite a gap to cover between where we are right now and $93,000 tomorrow. Can we get there? I believe that is possible. I believe that with God, all things are possible. And so it's really down to Him and it's down to you. And we know that if it doesn't happen, then there'll be another way. But we believe that it's very important for it to happen, because once that happens, we unlock that money and we're able to use it to get this film out to so many more people, hundreds of thousands, millions more people. And then we can get to that eventual September 30th goal of $1 million. Very, very large amount compared to where we are now, but it is entirely possible if we can get our minimum goal and reach that and unlock the potential to bring this campaign out to so many more. So if you hear me talking about September 9th, if you hear me talking about hitting the minimum, that is what it is for. It is so that we can get it out to so many more people. And then when people see it, they will come just as you have and invest just as you have and become our partners just as you are. And we are very much looking forward to that day, and we know that that's going to happen. Is it going to happen tomorrow? That's up to you. I'm doing everything I can. Let's also talk about Thursday. So Thursday, I haven't revealed what we're doing on that live stream. A little bit I have. But I'm going to reveal that now. Oh, and I keep on forgetting our special never before revealed secret. Okay, I'm going to tell you what Thursday's about, and then right after that, I'm going to reveal to you something that I have never revealed before. It's a question. It's an answer to a question that no one has ever asked me, and I don't know why, because it seems like a really obvious question, and nobody has ever asked me. So we're going to answer that question that you've never asked, and reveal something that we've never revealed. And I think it'll be fun for you. I think you'll like it. We're going to do that right after I tell you what's going on Thursday, and right after I announce that Gerald in Mississippi just partnered with us for $100 more. That means we need $705 to hit $73,000 today, or right now during this stream. Can we do it? I believe we can. Okay, so Thursday, this is what's going to happen. So a crazy thing happened on the last live stream last week. My daughter decided that she was done waiting for my wife and I. My wife joined me. My daughter was done waiting for us to emerge from the room, and so she decided to let all three of our dogs into the room, and then she decided to jump into the space here with us, and you got to meet her very briefly before we cut the feed and we got out, and then she had a very stern talking to afterwards. My daughter's name is Violet. She is precious. She is 9 years old. She is incredible, and she was very much in trouble. But a lot of you were very taken with Violet, and the fact of the matter is that Violet is incredibly fun, and she has her own thoughts, she has her own worldview, and she's not afraid to express it. And so Thursday night, we're going to have Violet here right next to me in the chair, and between now and then, she's going to watch The Shift for the first time. She's never really seen it. And she's going to give us her take on things Thursday night. We're going to have Violet, my 9-year-old daughter, review The Shift. This could go very, very badly. It could also be very cute and very informative. So I'm taking a real chance here, and only because several of you have said you would like to see her. So we'll see how that goes. But look forward to having Violet on Thursday. The other thing we're going to do is we are going to do the back half of the director's commentary, the back half of the diner scene. We'll be talking more about how the prayer came together and that conversation that Kevin and Satan have. You know, that's really the meat of the conversation, is the back half of that diner scene. So that is something we'll be tackling then. I very much look forward to talking more in depth about that aspect of the short. I really feel like that's where the short That's what most people think of when they think of the short. They think of the ending. They think of, that prayer. That prayer is so powerful. There's a reason for it. And speaking of that prayer, wait a minute, we got another question. I'm going to tackle this question and then we'll talk about that. You know what? I teased it. We're done teasing. It's time for the never before revealed secret. So speaking of that prayer, the one question nobody has ever asked me is, what does Kevin say? What is his prayer? And I think the reason they don't ask is because they feel like they know the prayer. But the fact is, you don't know the prayer. You feel like you know the prayer because it's a prayer that you've said. You have felt assaulted by dark forces. You have felt in desperate need of your Heavenly Father. And so you have said that prayer. You know that prayer, but you don't know Kevin's prayer. And Kevin's prayer was scripted. It wasn't in the script, but it was written down and it was handed off to Gregory C. Tharp, and he read it. He read the words that I wrote him, and I pretty much wrote them, just a couple of days before we shot the scene. So what I'm going to do for the first time ever is I'm going to reveal the full prayer. I'm going to read to you the full Kevin prayer. Some of it you can hear in the short, but some of it is so obscured by the music, by the sound effects, by Satan just yelling at Kevin, you can't really hear the whole thing. So there are parts of the prayer that you don't know, and I'm going to read the full thing for the first time ever. I'm going to do this again tonight, but those of you that are watching with us right now, you get to see it right now. Here we go. First time ever, Kevin's prayer. Father in heaven, I know it's been way too long since you last heard from me, and I'm sorry, but I'm in real trouble here. I am confronted by darkness, and I am too small. Please, please, please help me. I'm not worthy of your blessing, but I know you love your children. I have faith in that much at least. I can't fight this myself. I can't do it. Please turn thy face toward me, and in my unworthiness save me, that I may become worthy tomorrow. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. So that's Kevin's prayer. Kevin's prayer is the prayer of someone who knows they are fallen, of someone who knows that they have done wrong and recognizes the need for God. And that is pretty much all of us. Kevin has his particular things that he's done that he knows are wrong, that he wishes he hadn't, but we all have things that we know that are wrong and that we wish we hadn't. And so when we approach God, when we approach our Heavenly Father, it is with a humility. We are saying that we are not worthy and we want to become worthy, and please help us. And so that's what Kevin's prayer is. And so even though you can't hear most of the words, it was really important for me to get the words right, to express those thoughts. And it helped, I believe it helped Greg's performance. Greg talked in the live stream last week about how when we made the shift, he was actually homeless. And so he was in a place that was difficult, in which he was looking for some relief from God and not finding it. And so I know that when he said those words that night, and I'll talk more about, how we shot that on Thursday. When he said those words that night, when we shot this, I saw something very real in his performance, something much more real than what I just gave you, because I am not a performer. But I know that those words were something that were very significant to Greg, and I think he just played it beautifully, with that desperation that we all feel when we know we need God's help. We are trying to get to 23,000. I'm trying to hang on here until we get to it. If you're just joining us, that is our goal for this live stream, and I hope that you'll help us get there. If it's on your heart to support this film, please come in and partner with us. We've just gotten a couple of $100 investments. If that is all you can do, that is fantastic. We love our $100 investors. We're not asking for anybody to do more than they can do. But if you know that this film is something that needs to be made and you can come in and partner with us, then please do. We welcome you. We would love to see it. You know what? We're way at the tail end of this thing. Those of you that weren't with us in the very beginning, you probably missed Dallas's video. Dallas, we released it last week, has personally endorsed the shift. He's also an executive producer. And so he made a short presentation for us talking about why he is on board the shift and why he believes in it so strongly. For those of you that missed it earlier on, let's check it out again right now, and then I'll come back with another question and maybe a report on another investment. We'll see.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money, but I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where The Shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So The Shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of The Shift and the future of The Shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side. I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
In my unworthiness, see me that I may be worthy tomorrow.
I am greater than God.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
eternally great again.
And that's what The Shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
Hey, this is Brock. I hope you'll partner with us by backing the project at studios.vidangel.com/theshift. We only have until September 30th to get our full funding, and we can't do it without you. All right, so once again, that was Dallas letting us know why he believes in The Shift, why he's actually joined the team as our executive producer. So appreciative of him for doing that. We had another question come in here. What would we do with a Marvel Comics universe budget? God does impossible math. That's what they said. What would we do with that kind of budget? Well, obviously we'd make a much bigger film than what we're currently planning. But I don't know how much it would really change. I don't know how much more money we really need in order to tell this story. You know, one of the things you do when you're crafting a script is that you do everything you can to write to the budget that you have. And so I've been very careful. You know, like the short film is playing with such big ideas, and yet it was made for very, very little money. And so you get the sense of this big story with very consequential life and death, big universe ideas, but contained in this very small setting. And so I think it makes the film feel bigger than it is. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong about that, but it's really, if you think about it, the film is just a couple of guys talking. That's really all it is. And yet, because of what's at stake, I believe it feels so much bigger. And so we're going to take that same principle and execute it with the feature film. Now, which isn't to say that the feature film is going to be two guys talking the whole time. That's not what it's going to be at all. It's going to be much more than that. And we look forward to showing you what that means. Because it is going to be more expansive. It is going to be bigger. It is going to have, more locations and characters and all kinds of things. Characters that I believe you're going to really come to love that you don't even know yet because they're not even hinted at in the short. Some really, really great characters that I'm very, very excited about. But yeah. So I don't know how much a bigger budget would allow us to really do. I know it would definitely help us with some of the effects and different things. There is some world building going on. And we probably get to show more of that world with a bigger budget. That would be really fun. But right now, we're just trying to get to $1 million. If we can get to $1 million, I know I can make a quality film out of the script that we have. So that is our goal. That is our September 30th goal. Of course, our short-term goal is to hit $93,000 by tomorrow night. That is, we are a ways off from that. I don't know that we can get there. I believe that we can if it's what he wants and if it's what you're willing to support. But it really depends on that. So I hope you'll join us. I think that we are out of time now. We didn't quite hit our $73,000 goal for this live stream, but I very much appreciate you joining us. I appreciate those of you that did invest, that took the leap, that believe in this film, that are confident. We thank you so much. I have one more question here that just came in from Jenna. I think Jenna's trying to keep me on so that other person will come in. But she says, do you have any ideas for a Shift sequel? I do not. I have no ideas for a Shift sequel. I'm putting everything I've got into this movie. So I don't have any ideas. That's not to say that an idea wouldn't come, but I will say this. Kevin's story is done. With the Shift feature film, I think it is safe to say Kevin, at least this Kevin, his story is over. So if we did do a sequel, I wouldn't see Kevin necessarily returning, but who knows? I'm really putting everything I've got into this specific story of Kevin meeting Satan, defeating Satan, and then what happens? As we get closer to the 30th, I'll probably be revealing a little bit more about the feature film, giving you more of a taste of what's to come, including a script reading. I'd love to do a script reading, just some really interesting pages from the full feature script, pages that have nothing to do with what you've seen in the short, that are completely outside of that. I think that's something that you can look forward to on one of these live streams, not this week, and maybe not even next week, but soon. Soon that will happen. Let's see, are there any other questions I am missing? Noah says, prayers for 93,000. Yes, please. If you can't invest, if you already have invested, please pray for us that we can get to that 93,000 this week or by tomorrow night. I'm scanning real quick for any more questions before I completely sign off. We are currently at $72,295. We're like a hair's breadth away from our $73,000 goal. This is live. I'm going to stutter. It's just going to happen. I just got word from our moderators that somebody just jumped into the investment pipeline. So I'm going to hold on just a little bit longer. For those of you that are just joining us, if you are just joining us, here's what you've missed and what you can look forward to tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific when we do this all over again. I have shared with you the Dallas endorsement video. We have watched the full short film together, and I have answered any questions that were thrown my way. I've tried to answer all the questions. I'm looking at the Facebook feed right now and the YouTube feed. If you've got a question I didn't address, hit me with it again, and I'll take care of it now. We also, I revealed a never before revealed secret. I revealed the full prayer that Kevin says during the end of the Shift short film. Most of it, a lot of it is obscured by the sound design, by Satan yelling at him, and so you've never really heard it. So I read the full prayer, and I'll be doing that again later tonight. So I hope that if you have, you're coming here on the tail end, maybe you missed the beginning, you'll come and join us again later tonight. We are looking forward to a much bigger crowd in the evening, people getting off work and things like this. So we are doubly appreciative of those of you that have joined us for this stream here in the middle of the day. Very, very precious to us, everyone that is so touched by the Shift enough to listen to me ramble for, over an hour and a half now. Wow, over an hour and a half. How is that possible? Still waiting on that person who just jumped into the pipeline. Are they going to get us all the way to the $73,000? Is that possible? We're going to find out here. Just got another question. Will Kevin meet his parallel twin? So in the concept of the Shift, of course, is this idea that there are many Kevins out there. Kevins that Satan has talked to. Kevins that have made deals with Satan and are now off being power players and doing what Satan wants them to do, and achieving wealth and fame and power from doing that. Those kinds of Kevins are out there. So the question is it possible that the Kevin that we know and love, who said that prayer, could meet one of those Kevins? Pause for dramatic effect. I think that that's very possible. There's your tidbit. There's your tidbit for this live stream. Those of you that are here with us, because that very specific question was asked, I will say that yes, it's not only possible, it will happen. Kevin will meet one of the other Kevins and see what he could be if he made a different choice. Will he be tempted by what he sees, or will he be revolted by it? That's for the movie to show. But I think it is safe to say that Kevin at some point will have the opportunity to cross paths with another version of himself. That is so spoilery. You're welcome. And if you didn't want spoilers, then I'm sorry. But there's so much more to the feature film that I'm not telling you, that I don't even care that I told you that, because there's so much more yet to be revealed and for you to find out. That tells you almost nothing. But just as a storyteller, when you see an opportunity like that for a character to meet another version of themselves, just as a storyteller, like, I would be disappointed in myself if I didn't provide that opportunity. You want that to happen. It's too good of a vein to not tap it. So that is going to happen. Safe to say. In what context and what will Kevin's takeaway be? I'm not going to spoil that, but it's safe to say that we're gonna see some interaction there, and I think you'll really like that scene or scenes. Okay, I got our moderator messaging me again. Are we gonna jump out? Let's see. We have somebody who needs some help to invest. So we gotta wrap this up so that we can help her. So that's it. We're done for right now. We did not quite hit our $73,000, but I have a feeling we're gonna hit it shortly after this when this other person comes in and does that. Oh crud! I'm getting more questions. I keep trying to leave and you keep pulling me back in. I feel like Al Pacino right now. Will there be an opportunity to audition? I'm an actress that's not represented, but would love the opportunity to send my info. A lot of that we don't know yet. We're going to be, figuring that out as we get into pre-production, as far as, when we're going to be doing auditions and things like that. We'll try to get the word out in a way that makes sense. But there will be auditions. We have a number of parts, bigger parts and smaller parts. And so the call will go out. In what form or manner, sorry, I just hit my microphone. In what form or manner, that's to be determined, but we hope to share those details with you when we have them. So thank you for the question. I just don't have a good answer for you right now. The question we also have is, would you use the footage in the short that you showed today, or would you reshoot it for the feature film? We're looking at a complete reshoot. We're going to start over from scratch. New actors, new shots, maybe some new locations. Maybe we'll use some of the old locations, but we're going to start over. The Shift short film was made on a shoestring budget for $500. We just did what we could. It was run and gun and just figure it out as we go. And honestly, it's amazing that it turned out as well as it did, given just kind of what a ragtag bunch we were that were putting it together. So we look forward to the opportunity that a feature film presents us to think more thoroughly about how to block these scenes and how to put them together. So we are going to be reshooting from scratch, including the car wreck. We got to do that all over again. And thankfully, we shot this long enough ago that it doesn't seem too depressing to do it all over again. But the short is really just a sliver of what the full feature will be. But whatever you see in the short that we're redoing will be redone from scratch. Okay. We got a question from Kara. She says, Cheryl is asking if you can post the prayer. Yeah, I think I'll probably post the prayer at some point. I think we'll do that. Maybe after these streams, maybe at some point later this week, I'll make it graphic and we can see the prayer all nice. Yeah, I think that's fair to say that we'll do that once we've had a chance to share it in this format. And maybe that'll be helpful to people to see the words. It's not very flowery. It's certainly not as good as what probably your pastors do on a weekly basis, what that prayer is. That prayer is pretty humble in in words and pretty humble in the way that it's approaching God, of course. But maybe it can still be of value to people, and so I'd be happy to post the full text of that for sure. Okay, I think we're for real done. I think we've got to help this person who needs some help. We got to get off here and help her and to get that investment in. We look forward to seeing those of you that want to rejoin us at 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m. Any questions that are coming in right now? We just got another question from Roper. I'm going to say, you know what? Hit me with that one later at 6 p.m. tonight if you can. I feel like we need to get out of this one so that we can help this potential investor. 6 p.m. tonight. Please join us if you can. We welcome your questions, any additional questions, and yeah, we think we can do this thing, you guys. I think we really can. I know that your prayers are with us. I'm praying like crazy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that whatever happens is what the Lord's will, because we're seeking it and we're trying to be obedient to what we know to do. I thank you for joining us. I thank you for your faith. I thank you for your confidence, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. All right. We'll see you later.